Yes, good evening. We're back with a Celtic Unrestricted View. It's myself, JP, joining me this evening on this fine hump day, as they call it. I don't know why they call it that, right enough, maybe because Ryan's not here. But they call it hump day anyway, as I say. It's Wednesday evening, and joining me on tonight is our good friend, Mr. Allen, and our good friend, Barry Bannon. How are we, lads? I hope you are really well. Bazza, hope you're well, mate. You're looking good.
All good, mate. Just been away caravan for the last couple of days with the family, so and then mixing it with training as well. So, had a good week, mate, and looking forward to the weekend's game.
Brilliant. What caravan park were you at, mate? I was at Craig Tara a couple of weeks ago with the family. Amazing.
It's quite similar. It's Cleeforts, so like down Haven way, just next to Grimsby.
Okay.
We actually bought one like 6 weeks ago, so we dip half there every weekend if we can. Wayne's love it, so it's good.
Amazing, mate. Amazing. Totally amazing. It's good to get away with your family and just rest and recuperate. Obviously, you've got a busy season ahead, mate. So, it's good to get away. It's good to see you again, mate. Alan, talk about getting away, mate. I can see you jumping at a bit already, man. You look as if you're ready to jump on your case and drive it to the airport now.
All packed, all ready to go. Tenerife bound Friday, boys. So, you'll miss me for a couple of weeks. So, 12 nights away. Feeling fantastic. And for anybody, any usual watchers that were worried about the welfare, young canine, the dog did not jump out the window in case the RSPCA is phoned on me. She's well. So, I'm not
Can't
wanting
believe
to up at the door.
I believe you went and bought another dog.
I know.
Brilliant, aye. That's not a dog, Alan. That's a drawing of a dog. Just because you spray paint a dog's tail doesn't mean to say you're like, oh, but I like the name Missy.
I'll Kaiser. No, fantastic. Oh well, my man. Hope you guys are well anyway.
It's all good, mate. All good. It's good to see you, as I said, lads. Hey, lads, I'll just get right into it. Baz, I'll come to you first. Obviously, it wasn't a great weekend for the Hoops. Certainly wasn't a great result for us, that's for sure, on the performance level. But what's going on with the injuries, man? We've got, as you can see in the banner there, we've got a severe injury crisis now. You're looking at guys like, big hitters, CCV, Rio Hatate. There's no talk of the Polish lad's going to miss about 6 weeks now of action. Again, at Ibrox, just round the corner, man. What's going on?
It's difficult. It's hard to say because obviously you don't know what's going on in training and stuff like that. But these pre-season tours that you're looking at the other end of the world and all that can't be much help. Time differences, playing loads of games and then coming back. It's like takes it out you. Obviously you've got. I think it was Japan. I don't know how long the flights are over to Asia and that, but I wasn't one of the. I remember I went to America one year pre-season with Aston Villa. I think it was, and it is different. It takes a lot out of you, that time difference. Your body getting used to getting up at different times and training. So it could be anything, but I'm not a big fan of the tours where I know the club make great money out of it, but I think for the players are the ones who matter. I don't think they would vote to go places like that. Obviously, if you're away for 10 days to 2 weeks, you're away for family members, kids and that as well for ages. On top of the time difference in that. So it's no, for me personally as a player, I would rather either stay in my own country or go somewhere in Europe for a week and be back. But these Far East tours, I know they obviously benefit the club financially, but for the players, I don't think they're much good.
No, I would agree with you, mate. I think that, even when Celtic used to go, when they've done Australia and then they've done, obviously, Australia again with Big Ange for the Sydney tour. Obviously, under Neil Lennon, they've done America as well. So no, I don't really like the kind of big tours. I understand why they do it. It's to try and showcase the club as it's a worldwide brand, but I'm not a big fan of it, especially when when you're trying to. Sometimes when you've even got Champions League qualifiers and you're having to travel to these countries, mate, it's not the best. But Alan, before I bring you in, Biggie, where's my manners tonight? I'm going to come to a few of the comments as I normally do every single time we're on. And the first one up is our Plunge, and he says, "Good evening, boys," and he's on the YouTube tonight. Good evening, Plunge. Hope you're well, mate. And James back on, and Ange says, "Hi, Plunge. Evening, folks. Hope everyone is well." Same to yourself, Ange. Jerry H, man of the quiz, Baz. I think he just comes on when you're on, Baz. Honestly, I really do. Jerry's good evening, all from the Lone Star State. Hail, hail. Good evening, Jerry. Hope you're well, mate. And Francis Lester is joining us also. He says, "Evening, chaps and chapesses." Good evening, Francis. Hope you're well, mate. I know you weren't too well, and I hope you're feeling better, buddy. So, Paul Cook also saying, "Good evening, JP, Alan, and Barry. Hail, hail, boys. Hail, hail, Paul. Thanks for joining us, Paul." And our good man, Kevin Ferrier, also is joining us on the YouTube. Hail, hail, guys. Good evening. Good evening, Kevin. Hope you're well, mate. I really do. Yeah, Alan. So, just as Baz saying there, obviously, like I says at the beginning there, we've got a wee bit of an injury hit crisis at the moment, mate. And we'll just talk about the tours. When the team go a bit, far afield in the travel, etc. Me personally, mate, I don't think we benefit from it. We probably do financially, but mentally and physically, it probably is a bit draining on us, mate. What's your feelings on it?
I don't know if it's kind of unlucky or you guys could have a point. I think the last time that we did have that kind of advantage of travelling that far away might have been the last time we were kind of right into the Champions League. Was it maybe towards America in the kind of 2014, 15, I think, possibly. Might be wrong. But it could have an effect, obviously, the way that you guys have explained that. But aye, it is relatively concerning with regards to the options in defence. If you look at it like a week or two ago, we had 7 choices for kind of centre halves, and now we're limited to a couple. So we'd be hoping that we could maybe get one or two of them back before we go to the games in New York on the road. So, we'd be hoping that we can pull a few of them back. But sometimes these things happen. You seen when Ange came in, I don't know if that was kind of the change to the training kind of regime, but we had quite a lot of kind of injuries, hamstrings especially at that time. So we'd be hoping that we could deal with it. We have got quite a big squad, so it's no ideal, but we're hoping we can deal with it and kind of push through until these guys are all back on the training field and then on the pitch again.
Yeah, I would say so, mate. Like you says, like Alan says, sorry, Baz. We did have to deal with us, especially at the time David Turnbull was playing a lot of games for us under Ange when Ange's first season happened, and then he had a hamstring injury, and then we seen another one with Kyogo, and we were missing both players for several weeks to a couple of months actually. And we had to sort of make do with what we had. It wasn't the best, but we got through it, and we managed to stay on Rangers' coattails at the time because they were top of the league to January, February. And as I say, Ange obviously threw a team together pretty quickly, having to recruit rapidly because it was a massive rebuild at the time as well. But I think this time's a bit different in terms of what Brendan's inherited because he's inherited a team full of winners. Guys that have been there the last couple of years. Obviously, it's minus about 3 or 4 players from last season. One's actually just recently been sold in Carol Starfelt. But obviously, then there was a replacement brought in immediately there in the big boy Lager Elke. And so far, right now, in terms of the senior centre-backs, he looks as if he's going to be the only fit one available, because we've now had an injury to Stephen Welsh recently. It looks like a badging badge from a training incident that happened to him last week. So, all in all, mate, I think we're kind of left with maybe having to go to a makeshift Timoki Wata, or looking at a potential bringing Liam Scales into the team. When probably a lot of us thought that Liam would have been moved out on loan, perhaps to Aberdeen, but I've just seen tonight that Aberdeen have just signed a big Finnish centre back. I can't mind his name. I seen it earlier on. He actually looks a wee bit like Liam Scales. I don't know if that's the kind of calibre of player that we're going for, a big tall guy with blonde hair. But as I say, it looks like Liam Scales, Baz, could potentially come into the team on Saturday against St Johnstone, mate.
I think the good thing that you always try to look for the positives when you these type of things happen. It might force Celtic to go into the transfer window again. I know at the minute we've got a lot of centre backs, so if they all get fit, then you have people unhappy. So I don't know if they'll buy another centre half, because, like I said, we've just bought 2. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6 centre halves now. So I think we'll just have to try and get by at centre half now with the ones that we've got fit and ready. I don't think they'll buy in there, but I think with the game the other day and the injuries that we've had, I think they'll need to go and buy and strengthen elsewhere, because it's obviously not worrying because it's one game and it's early on in the season. But I think Brendan touched on it after the game that he needs match winners. Whereas Jota was probably one of the biggest match winners we had last season alongside Kyogo. He goes. So if you stop Kyogo, I know we've got other players in the team, but actual goal scorers and that wee bit of different class kind of thing. Hatate's got it, who's out as well. There's no many now left there. So I know Abada and Maeda, they're all different types of players, but actual who can change a game in a split second with no really replace that with Jota. So I think the positive is Celtic will have to go into the window in the next 10 days and bring people in to strengthen that team. But I think going forward with the weekend, I think hopefully Alistair Johnson, he's had another week. Could he go into centre half and play Ralston at right back? Could they switch to a free, like we said, where Johnson's played right to a free before for Canada, and play him like a BLK and Scales on the left side of a free? There's still loads of options and it's still quite strong. Not as strong as we want to, but it's just unfortunate that we've had 3, 4 injuries to centre halves who would play. But that's the beauty of it, and that's why you sign players in pre-season and for times like this. So hopefully the boys that are going to play in the starting 11 on Saturday, they've got something to prove and to try and stay in the team for realistically the Old Firm game in 2 weeks from now. Everybody wants to play in them, so the ones that come in at the weekend, they'll give themselves a great chance of playing in an Old Firm.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I agree with you. I've spoke to Ryan about this. Ryan's of the opinion, I think Ryan's just sometimes you just want to be better and get that next niche in that is going to be a belter and help us in terms of quality level. But I've spoke to Ryan about this the other night. Actually, I says I don't think we'll buy another centre back, and I think you hit the nail on the head itself there, Baz. Alan, I think that's pretty key as well what Baz says in terms of Alistair Johnson, because in my opinion, and everyone else that's watching us at the moment and listening in my opinion, I think Alistair Johnson gives this team another 50% of quality added to the squad just in his own. So I really do think having him back, should he play any part on Saturday coming, mate, I think that would be a massive boost for us. Also, along with a massive tactical option that we can have maybe going forward into the following week, mate.
No, you see the last 6 months of last season when he first came in, he's obviously a quality player. So a lot of Celtic fans, including myself, that were kind of worried when we lost Juranovic. whether we could kind of replace him with somebody of a similar quality. But I think he showed in bundles that he's got lots of quality, and we've no personally seen him in the right side of centre back, but as Barry says, it's been kind of well publicised that he has played that position for a national team. So I'd be hoping that that option would be kind of available. That if he is fit, we could put him in there. That would definitely kind of lighten the load a bit. That we've got one more option that we can fill that space with. So I'm definitely in agreement with you guys. I can't see them bringing in another centre half. We've brought in a couple and we've let one go. So I think we're kind of overloaded at that position at the minute. It's just extremely unlucky how many injuries in that department that we've had. So I think they're just going to push through. I think there's probably more pressing positions for throughout the season that we should improve on. So I don't think that the centre half will be a priority, because in 2 or 3 weeks you'll start seeing a couple of them coming back, and then hopefully that the stress on that position will ease a bit. So I definitely agree with you guys on that. So there's other kind of injury issues like Tati. I think you seen in the second half when he came on for the 20 minutes against Aberdeen how kind of invaluable he is to the side.
Yep.
He's one of the only players in the side that we've got that's got that kind of that tenacity and that guile, that that gives you the strength in midfield. The other guys that we've got, like Matt O'Reilly and Callum McGregor, are slightly different players. Obviously great players, but Hatate offers you that something a bit different. And I think
Uh,
that if he's no back, we will be lacking that kind of that tenacity and guile, as I said. So I think it's imperative that we get him back as kind of as soon as we can. So I think him and Carter Vickers are obviously the biggest players that we want to get back as soon as.
I think there's a lot of there seems to be a lot of press, Baz. Just as Alan said, Hatati there actually seems to be a lot of press around Rio just now, and some of it isn't positive in terms of some leaked stories getting out to the media about potentially not signing a new contract, or so far rejecting a new contract after being offered along with Liel Abada on improved terms, and a change maybe in what he's earning in terms of that. But obviously no telling us that much in definitive detail there. But I there's a census among I think a growing census among the Celtic fans, mate, that Hatate maybe is looking at other options and sees himself away from Celtic in the not so distant future. What's your take on that, Baz? Do you see that in Rio, or is this a genuine injury? Do you reckon, or what do we think?
I kind of touched on it. I can't remember if we spoke about it on here, but it must have been. Because most of my talking about Celtic is when I'm on this podcast. So I'm sure I said it last
Aye.
season where he doesn't look happy, and I know we were saying the other week that people seem to be body language experts, but I think personally, for me, looking in for the outside, he does look unhappy. I've spotted wee things, mental things, because I watch all the games, obviously, and like the thing that stood out to me was the James Forrest testimonial when they all walked round with Jamesy after the game and he wasn't there. I actually looked to see where he was, because there's been times where they walked up with the trophy Celtic way as well. I was looking to see where he was, and he was kind of on his own there as well. So just wee
Uh-huh.
things, and he's the way he's playing the game as well. He's completely different to the one that was here last season and enjoying it. There's no really a smile about him. It looks as if he's doing a wee bit. And to be honest, it infuriates me as a fan, because I think he thinks he's outgrown Celtic, and I don't think he has, to be honest. I think he's not been there long enough to be ready to kick up a fuss to move on. But once you
Yeah.
see people like Jota and that leaving, then maybe he thinks I want a bit of that and things like that. But sometimes you got to be a wee bit loyal to clubs, and especially to him, really, because he's come out for Japan and we've kind of put him on the map, kind of thing. So sometimes you just got to bite the bullet, and it's not as if he's at a small club; he's at one of the biggest clubs in the world. He's going to be playing in the Champions League again, so I'm a bit annoyed, really,
Mhm.
if that is the case that he wants to leave. But like I said, I think I spoke to my dad and that, and I think he thinks he's outgrown Celtic. I think he might be leaving the hype and the press the last season and how good he was, but I still think he owes Celtic another season at least. Celtic's got the power. He's under contract, so if they don't want to sell him, they don't need to. But do you
Yeah.
really want a player there that's going to be sulking? And he kind of looks at that kind of way, to be honest, from the games this season that I've seen. I've seen the guy commenting about the physicality there, and yeah, I'm a big admirer of Rio Hatate. Not only going forward, I think we do look isolated in the middle of the park when he's not playing because his energy. It's not just his technical ability on the ball. He gets about the pitch and covers some amount of ground, and he gets his
Mhm.
feet in and he wins the ball back. He presses and forces errors. Home and O'Reilly, they do it obviously, but to Rio Hatate is one of the best I've seen at Celtic at actually going and hunting the ball down with Kyogo. They've got a good partnership. He going in twos and he knows when to go, and just his overall
Mhm.
energy. And I think when he doesn't play, McGregor suffers a wee bit as well because we're kind of wide open in there.
Mhm.
So it's going to be hopefully he doesn't go, and hopefully he gets his head round that he's going to have to stay another year and we keep him because he's massive for Celtic going forward and defensively. And I hope these rumours are not true, but I do have my doubts, and I think personally that he wants to leave, and I love him, so hopefully he doesn't. But I think looking for the outside in, I think he'll. I don't think he'll be off, but I don't think his heart's in it at the minute. And I think when the window closes, he might need to get his head round it and go again. But I just hope we keep him beyond next week and he's here for another season.
Yeah, well, the thing about that is, Baz, what I would say to that is, in terms of if he's here at the close of window, we, we definitely certainly need a new and improved energy level from him all round. Because right now, I do agree with you. And again, everybody, like you say, most people think they're body language experts these days with things. But I've had a chat also with my dad, and because we go to the games together at Celtic Park, and I've said that I think he's sulking for some reason. Now I've seen comments. I seen a comment. I can't remember who it was. It was in the comments there, and they said that the Japanese don't tend to behave that way, or they are a bit more loyal. They're a bit more different in their work rate and their effort levels, etc. But no, there's definitely a morale change with him. Alan, obviously, I'm going to come to you with this. But I do think that that there's just something missing with him at the moment. Um, and I'm with Baz here, mate. I personally can't put my finger on it. But as Baz says, he wasn't there when the team was going round the pitch at James's testimonial. But obviously, a big thing for me was we had secured the league at Celtic Park, and the players were celebrating and came back to Celtic Park because the fans had turned up from all over Glasgow at Celtic Park to congratulate him, and he wasn't there. He wasn't there. I think it was like a day or two later, he made an excuse to say that he had some sort of a family event, visitors coming over from Japan, and um, but in my opinion, lads, again, I don't mean this to be telling tales of school or anything, but if you've got family coming over and you're a footballer, then your family need to sort of wait because the end of your shift is that day when they come back to Celtic Park, they see the fans and then they go home. I mean, I've no problems with people having lives and families outside of football, but that was massive that day. We secured the league at Hearts, and again, if we remember it quite frankly, I thought we were under par that day again. Um, specifically, we still won and we secured that title. But Alan, I definitely think there's a mood and morale change in Hatate. I think it's quite clear for most of us to see. And I think it has affected his performance levels. Wee bits of raw quality still there, as you can see. He came on and he looked quite decent against Aberdeen, but again, then he signalled quite early on that he had something wrong with his calf. I've said that because I don't know specifically what's wrong with his calf. I just know he's got a calf muscle injury. Or so we've been told. Again, we've not had any update for the manager or any of the coaches, so we don't know. We've just been told with Brendan that it's something that needs to be monitored and it's not going to be long term. The same with Carter Vickers. So, but I do think there's definitely a morale change, and should he be here at the end of the window, I think he's going to have to do that wee bit more, mate, especially now that we're going and getting geared towards another Champions League group stage.
I don't know if his nose has maybe been put at joint with the departure of the previous manager. Possibility.
That's
Maybe
could be,
Barry's right. Aye, maybe that he does think he's outgrown Celtic. Possibility. It's only kind of Hatate that's been able to answer that question. It's all kind of only our opinions at present. But I'd be massively surprised if Celtic let him go before the end of the window. I just think we've let Jota go and we've no replaced him at the minute. So what chance have we got to replacing somebody like Hatate with 8 days to go? It'd be a hard ask to kind of replace him. And people might say, oh, if 20, 30 million, whatever he's worth comes in, Celtic will accept. But we're fans, guys. It's
yeah.
that the bank balance doesn't reflect what's on the field. So the money's come in for Jota, and it's not necessarily been spent at present just now. So I would rather keep the quality players that we've got because it's all fine and well as saying that we've got a great bank balance and we've made such and such profit in players, but if Hatate leaves before the end of the window without a suitable replacement, then it is a massive hole in the midfield and overall the team. I think that, yeah, if you were to pick maybe 2 or 3 players out of the Celtic squad 11 that you think is the best players in the squad or the 11, Hatate's in there, in my opinion. And for us to be losing somebody that ilk and that quality with 8 days to go in the transfer window, I just can't see it happening. I do agree that it could possibly look that he would want to move on, but in my opinion, I would see that at the earliest, maybe January or next season. I can't see us letting him go at this stage.
I personally think if Hatate was sold on, then I'm afraid that and this is my opinion, guys. Again, we've all got one. We probably all see some certain things differently. In my opinion, in the one transfer window, you cannot let 2 of your biggest hitters go and then replace them with. And this is no disrespect, okay? I'm not meaning. I hope these guys are early stages for me, but I think Yang's going to be a belter. I've said it on here. I really do. I think he's going to be. I think we'll be fine with him. But I don't think it's going to wash with all the fans if we let Jota go for, let's say, 25 million, Alan, like he says, and just say we get something similar in the ballpark. Should it be Rio Hatate goes this window, and then Celtic don't replace any of both, or they do, or they go and spend another maybe 1.5 million or 2 million on another guy to come in and replace. I don't think the Celtic fans, and myself included here, lads, Baz, I don't think we would be too chuffed with that recruitment strategy because I think there would be a genuine census among the support that there's you're starting to kind of downgrade a little bit in terms of your levels. I think already we have seen a transfer window so far up to now. In my opinion, boys, I don't know about yous, but I think it's been rather underwhelming in terms of transfer activity. I hope this underwhelming statement gets slashed across the board right from tonight now and moving forward between now and the end of the window. window, there is 2 or 3 absolute belters coming through the door. But so far, boys, I think a lot of the Celtic fans are kind of asking the same question as to what's going on.
100%, because I think as fans, you look at we're in a healthy position financially. We have been for the last couple of years, so you want at least, if no half, of that Jota transfer fee. You want probably most of it spent on the team. So you're sitting comfortable before that transfer. So when you sell players like this, surely you go and spend a bulk of it in replacing people. Whereas Celtic have went about it in a different way and signed up and coming talent, but Celtic need people in the door for now. Like, these boys might be brilliant for this season, but it's a bit of a gamble. They're young, they're still learning the game. Jota was experienced, played in the Champions League, Europe, knows what it's all about. So you can't then go and replace these people with people who are starting out their careers. You need to go and actually replace them with proven players, and I think that's where Celtic have kind of let themselves down this season. I think that's why the fans are starting to become disgruntled, because we want a marquee signing. We've lost our best player, so you want somebody to come in and get you excited, and they've not really had that yet. Obviously, like I said last week, new signing comes in, you're excited because it's a new player, you want to see him, but there comes a point in time where you want a player that's coming in who you know about and who you've watched and who you really like. I know probably a lot of you's never seen Jota, and they'll say, but he came in and put you on the edge of your seat. But that doesn't really happen often. So I think they've got a right to be complaining, because no, it's not to do with Rangers, or it's about your own club. You want what's best for your club. It's not about watching other people and starting to work. Let's get it right. Like, we're not worried. We just want what's best for the club. And said we've brought a lot of transfer fees in the last couple of years, and be interested to see which we've actually spent. I know we spent a bit in Carter Vickers and Jota, but we've received bundles back for Jota now. So I think they're right. I think they're right to be getting unhappy. There's 7 or 8, 9 days left, and that result adds to it at the weekend, where, if we're being honest, with another 90 minutes, would we have scored? Probably no. And we talk about Rangers the other week having problems and people no running in behind, and we had the opposite at the weekend. We never had somebody that could open a door. Like, we never had somebody that could dribble past somebody at the weekend. We had too many runners with Abada and Maeda. It comes a point where you've got to have somebody that can change the game with a bit of brilliance, and I don't think Abada and Maeda can do that. They're relying on balls in behind or balls flashed across the face of goal. We touched on it with Kilmarnock. Brilliant defensively at the start of this season, sit in the low block, sit in the box, hard to break down. You need somebody who's going to run at somebody, go past somebody. And since Jota's went, the boy Yang came on, and we were better when he came on. We said he should have started. He could have probably broke down them by the looks of it. Haksabanovic, for me, was brilliant when he came on as well. I thought he gave us that directness, running with the ball, gave them something different to deal with. And I think, I said it last year, Maeda and Abada, and I've said it to you, big man. I'm not a real massive fan of Abada. I know his goals he gets goals in that, but especially in that part, your technical ability shows, and I think the two wingers let us down at the weekend. Technically, the pitch didn't suit them, but I just think Celtic probably, I don't think this season going forward we can play with Maeda and Abada as the wingers, because they're too similar. They're technically no brilliant, raw pace and work hard, but I think Haksabanovic or Yang needs to start for me, because we had a good balance last year with Jota and Abada, or Jota and Maeda. This season we've not got that. Well, we have, but we're not playing the ones who I think are match winners. So I would like to see that Jota money splashed on somebody who's going to be able to unlock defences, i.e. dribbling, or i.e. Haksabanovic coming in and playing a through ball that these Maedas and Abadas don't really see. So, and you can see why Celtic fans are unhappy. They need somebody to replace Jota, who was, I listened to Open Goal and they Charlie Mulgrew hit the nail on the head. He said Celtic at the weekend. He says, we played Celtic last season. We're in a tight game at Parkhead. Jota got the ball, was running, dribbling past, having shots, running, winning corners. We never had that at the weekend, and we've not replaced it since he went. Yang probably, but no starting, so we won't know until he gets a run of games.
Yeah. No, I think you're spot on, mate. I think the Celtic fans have every right to have concerns at the moment in terms of the way the window's going and how it's maybe going to end up for us, Alan. I think overall, mate, I agree with Baz in terms of Abada. I've said for a while, I don't think his decision making is probably the best, especially for a guy who does get the goals, because his goal return doesn't warrant some of his performance levels. Some of his performance levels, you're like, what the hell are you doing, son? You're like, what are you doing? Like, and then he comes inside when he's not supposed to, and there is questions actually whether he can actually stand up a man and totally, be a Paddy Roberts, like take the guy right out of the game, a Jota, take the guy right out of the game and leave him sitting on his bum. He's done it once or twice in terms of his goals. He's left people wanting, but overall, mate, when we want to play with width, I think, Alan, we need someone who's a bit more direct. I think, like I says, and like Baz says there as well, I think the boy Yang will be that lad that, I've also noticed, I don't know about you lads, but I've also noticed the balance of the team just isn't quite right. Abada and Maeda playing together at each wing. I think that's why when you see, even if you had Haksabanovic and Maeda, I think that would be a different combo. Jota and Maeda worked really well because, again, it was two different type of players. You're getting people on the guessing games, people that, especially the people they're up against, like one does one good thing, one does the other. One's better at running at you, one's better not, and then when they two are switching, it keeps everybody on their toes, especially in the defence when people are asking you to like go and pick these guys up. No, as I say, I think overall, Alan, it's been very underwhelming this transfer window, mate. And I know Brendan was out at the weekend after the game, and he was talking about how disappointed he was in terms of the result, and then he was pushed on a wee bit of transfers, and he says, "No, we're looking for people who are potential match winners." So I'm really surprised we're now sitting on Wednesday the following week, mate, and we've not really had a link, or anything that we're coming close to. So I think it's overall, mate, I think it's been really, really underwhelming.
No, I mentioned that about 7, 10 days ago that I felt that at that point that it was underwhelming the transfer window because they were all kind of viewed as project players. And now that time's passed, my views just kind of accelerated that it's concerning how underwhelming it is. With regards to what you guys are saying about what Maida and Abada, definitely agree. And the difference is this year is we're relying on they two to start. When last year, one or two of them would have been on the bench and we could have brought them on as impact players because you had Jota or Maida most of the time or whoever. But now we are relying on them at the minute as definite starters. And that's kind of alarming to show how underwhelming the first 11 is. That we've brought two players that were squad players into definite starters. We need to look at the transfer window as a whole when we're explaining that it's underwhelming. It was reported when Brendan Rodgers was coming in that he had this kind of 30, 35 million war chest that he was going to improve us in Europe, and that was the reason he was coming back. Now, I don't know if reports are true with regards to that, that's all we're reading. But if he's got that 30, 35 million, on top of that, we've brought in 25 million for Jota and 5 million for Starfelt. So combined is an easy 60, 65 million you're talking about there. We've spent 14 million on players at the minute, on 6 players. 14 million. Now, that in black and white is underwhelming. So there needs to be action in the next 8 days, or it is concerning. Look, how could we we try to make an impact in Europe when we've clearly went backwards for last year. The start 11s went backwards, and a few of these players like Tilio and Yang could be players. And I agree with you, JP. I think Yang will be a good player. But the point there is, I think he will be a good player at this precise moment when we go away to Ibrox and we go into the Champions League. We don't know if he's ready at present. I think in these next 8 days, what the Celtic fans, the mood needs lifted. We need somebody that you go, aye, wait a minute, he's coming right into that starting 11. You need somebody like we've got rid of Jota as well. And Jota, compared to Abada and Maida, he had that wee bit of skill, that wee bit of something like Paddy Roberts, like Aidan McGeady, that could get bums off his seats, that could change a game, turn a game, win a game. And as much as Maida and Abada are good, decent football players, they're runners. They've no got that skill basically that can change a game. Maybe we are 1-8 at Tynecastle and you're looking for somebody to give you that wee bit of trickery or a shot from outside the box that's going to get us the win. And we're lacking at present. And as I say, I'm hoping, really hoping that within the next 8 days that we get the fire out and back the manager. And because I think overall, the kind of feedback that you see online on social media, I think the mood needs lifted within the Celtic fans because it's starting to become concerning. As I say, we're still winning league games, but I think that might have been a wake up call in the cup game at the weekend there. So I definitely think that the mood needs lifted and we need to kind of get the purse strings slackened a bit and go for it slightly. No mega bucks, but we need to be doing more than we're doing at the minute.
Yeah, Baz, I think Alan's pretty accurate with his analysis. A good bit of that there, in terms of when he says backing the manager, because overall, mate, it kind of looks as if there's been a massive shift in what way the club are recruiting at the moment now, because I think overall, mate, there's a genuine concern with that statement that Brendan Rodgers made last week when he done his presser before the cup game against Kelly, and he says about the club provide me players and I'll coach them. I think there was a few people asking questions there, and it seems from the outside looking in, Baz, I don't know how you feel on it yourself, mate. Whether you think that's been overlooked by or maybe read into too much. But the difference between obviously Ange being here to Brendan being here is Ange looked as if he had total control of everything that was going on, and things were done pretty rapidly in terms of there was no messing about. Whoever was bringing in, they were bringing in and signed, and it was done and dusted. When he was even signing players before transfer windows were opening up, like he signed the three Japanese lads, Maeda, Hatate, and Idaguchi at the time. And he announced them in Hogmanay the day before the January transfer window up. So, again, mate, there seems to be a wee bit of a shift. Now, I don't know if this window itself, has been basically down to Rodgers assessing the squad, right? But obviously now, I think there's a significant amount of time went by for that to happen. And surely by now, the manager would have a rough idea as to, what we're lacking and what we need, especially going into another Champions League campaign.
I think probably my opinion on it's probably the biggest difference for Ange and Brendan was I'd say the both of them are shot in completely different markets because Ange goes to the Japanese league, brings them out. Wages won't be big, fees weren't big. Hence why they're on new contracts now. All the Japanese boys have all been offered new deals because I would imagine they wouldn't be no bad wages, but I wouldn't imagine they're breaking the bank for Celtic. A club like Celtic, I'd say they'd be relatively low for what Celtic normally play, whereas Brendan probably doesn't really want to shop in that market, doesn't really know it as much. So he'll be shopping in a European market where players' wages are a lot more than these boys coming out of Japan. So it's probably harder to push them deals through than it was for Ange with the Japanese boys. I know Ange got Jota and Carter Vickers signed up, but the club had no choice really because they were on loan and were really successful on loan as well. So if they never book them, then the fans are kicking up. All hell breaks loose because you got them in permanent when they both have made it clear they want to come. So I don't think that was really hard for Ange either because they came on loan, proved themselves. Then that was the pressure of the fans. So reluctantly, they probably have to go, we need to sign these two. Whereas the Japanese, I think, are quite easy to push through with I wouldn't imagine their money's massive. But like I said, I think Brendan, I can't imagine him coming back and no getting promised a war chest and whatever. I think he must have called the shots to come back because like you spoke about him before we left because he wasn't getting what he was wanting. So I can't imagine him coming back.
Yeah.
And into the board and getting told what to do with the board. So I can't put my finger on it, but I'm just hopeful still that something big will happen in the next 8 days. I'm hoping there'll be 2 or 3 that come in because I still think for Europe, we're miles off it. I think we're weaker than we were last year right now, if I'm being honest. I think they're definitely weaker. So
well, on that point, mate, let's go to the next. I'm going to move us on now. In terms of recruitment, mate, what do you see we're, potential short of, and where you would look to be adding between now and the end of the window?
I think we need probably a goalkeeper. I would say we need a left back for Champions League. I would love to see Kieran Tierney brought back. I just think Greg Taylor's been brilliant, but I just think if we're going to go and try and get through the group or finish third in the group, I think we need a bit more at left back. I don't. It's hard to say this because I've not seen enough of Kwon, but I think we need a dominating centre mid who's going to sit in there and be nasty, put their foot in, a Scott Brown type that we've no kind of replaced since he's left for me. I think we need somebody like that for European nights. And I think a winger for Jota. I think 3 or 4 players, that is a goalie, left back, centre mid and a top class winger that's going to basically replace Jota's goals and assists. I think we're a good 3-4 players away from being all right in Europe. I think if we come up short of that, we'll find ourselves January speaking about the same thing in Europe again.
Yeah, I've kind of got to agree with you, mate, in terms of your ideas for recruitment. I do think we need another goalkeeper. I've said it on here many times, Alan, even before you joined us, mate. This isn't particularly because Joe Hart's a bad goalkeeper. Far from it. It's just the fact that he's, his age. He's at the other end of that now, and I think we're at a stage now where Scott Bain and Benji Siegrist are not going to challenge him for a number 1 spot. And recently, Joe has made some mistakes, but again, that's probably down to the way he's been asked to play, and he just doesn't look comfortable to it. In my opinion, I think there's a reason why Pep Guardiola did move Joe Hart on, and it's probably that reason, the fact that he was never great with the ball at his feet, and the way Brendan likes to play. Because if you remember back the first time, lads, I know he probably wasn't the best in terms of shot stopping and with his hands, but Brendan quite quickly went and get Doris de Vries, who had at Swansea, been able to play out at the back, and that's what he identified, and then he had to sort of change that midway in, and you seen Craig Gordon coming in. Again, that was down to repeated mistakes that Doris de Vries was making. For Joe Hart's reputation alone and the likability factor that I've got for Joe, I just hope Joe doesn't leave us with that option that we have to end up bringing someone else into the squad because he keeps making mistakes and costing us at a very high level. You've seen it last season against Leipzig when they go and get the goal disallowed for offside. It's literally 45 seconds later, Joe
decides he's had enough and he just chucks the ball to one of them and they score. I know that's probably not the way he was thinking, but that is the way it sort of happened. And again, when he was interviewed after the game, he was saying about that's the way he's been asked to play. But when in fact, if he'd seen that incident back, he would have realised, Alan, that there was other options and easier options for him to retain the ball rather than giving the ball away and costing us a goal, especially when we had managed to get a goal ourselves just before it. So that was really frustrating. And again, guys, I just don't want to see us going down that road of having to be shot there because, again, I think a lot of Celtic fans would be fearful if Scott Bain was to have to. I know he's been on the bench recently, so don't get me wrong, he's brilliant with the ball at his feet, but unfortunately, he does what he does, and he does what he did at Easter Road recently. And he forgets he's got hands as well. But I would like to see a left back, definitely, personally. I want somebody with a bit of physicality. Someone maybe even a bit taller than Greg Taylor, because again, I think that's an area on the pitch that most teams will try and hit, even in decent grass parts, just because Greg's not the tallest. He's certainly not the strongest either, because again, up at Pittodrie, he was pushed off the ball quite easily with the boy Morris and the other big lad Majowski. And then at the weekend, you seen him again. Danny Armstrong was really physical and in his face, and albeit Danny was a bit cheeky at the weekend, he left one on him and a blatant elbow in his ear. But as I said, it's Alan, I think definitely a replacement for Jota is needed. I've heard people say that we need another striker. I don't think he's going to go and buy another out-and-out striker because, again, how do you keep them happy when O is fit, especially when Maeda can play there? And we've seen Maeda play through the middle. He's a striker for Japan. That's where Celtic saw Maeda playing through the middle for Yokohama. So he's been played out the wing because we have Kyogo. But again, I think Brendan's experimenting with Kyogo at the moment to see if he can become a link-up man, the way he did with Jamie Vardy. And I know the wee man's got the tools in his locker to be able to do it, but I think a lot of people's gripes are the fact that people have seen Kyogo's game has changed, the fact that he's not on that shoulder of the last man anymore, and for the kind of balls that are getting fizzed across the box, Kyogo's now sometimes he's not on the end of him, Alan. But I don't think a striker's going to be top of the shopping list, guys. I would like to see another midfielder brought in, someone to help Callum. If there's a comment there, sorry lads, from Monty. He says Maeda isn't a striker, he is a centre forward. He's played at centre forward for Japan, and he was played there with Yokohama. Ange put him out to the wing with us because of his pace. But he plays through the middle. We saw him in pre-season in Japan. He scored a hat-trick against his former team with us through the middle, and he looked really, really good. That's where Celtic scouted him. When Ange knew about him, we seen him playing through the middle. So I'm afraid, mate, he was a centre forward in Japan. Play him as a centre forward. So he has an option for Celtic to go through the middle. Brendan obviously must see that in him, otherwise that wouldn't have been what we saw at pre-season when we were in Japan with Maeda playing through the middle. So, but I don't see a striker a priority signing. I think a goalkeeper, left back. I don't think there'll be another centre half brought in. No, I think another midfielder. I would like to see someone potentially. Now, I know they're far and few between to find in this sort of day and age. Someone similar to Nakamura, somebody like kind of Lubo Moravcik, someone that can thread balls through the eye of the needle gaps, similar to Hatate, but someone who can turn a game on again, somebody that's a match winner and turn a game on its head when you are up against a low block or a back five that just want to sit in their 18-yard box.
Also someone that's got a bit of quality in that they'll maybe curl one round a defender from the 18-yard line and not be afraid to shoot at goal. I think someone like that, a kind of more of a hybrid type player, to again give like Matt O'Reilly a bit of help as well. Because sometimes I think Matt's very isolated the way this midfield's looking at the moment, because we don't have a tatty, and it just looks like the makeup in the midfield is more lightweight than not. But we need someone with a bit more physicality, because I think we're too nice guys. I think we're too lightweight, and I think we're far too nice. I think against big teams, we are, especially in the Champions League, we are going to find it very, very tough. Someone like you take for like last night, for example, that big boy Sangari, very physical. If he was to come up against, someone like the boy home's built to the side of a fiver, so um, he's going to get moved out of the way, regardless of his technical ability, because he's not physical enough to withstand that power. So I think that's what we're needing. Yeah, Alan, I think the census between us all, mate, is pretty similar. But again, everybody's got different. You might have a different position that you think is needed. And I mean, let's not forget as well, lads. I know there was a comment earlier about the boy Marco Tellio. We've not even seen him play. Somebody says he's back on the grass now. I'm quite stunned by that, because I didn't even know he smoked. So that's amazing. The fact that he's back on the grass is good news. Maybe that'll help him get over his injury, and we can certainly see him kick a ball for Celtic soon, Alan.
Aye, no, I agree with most of your points. Slightly wee differences between yourself and Barry. I've been saying for a wee while, I thought we definitely need a goalkeeper. Do I think we'll bring in a goalkeeper before the end of the transfer window? No, I see now. I probably see other places in the park that's kind of more of a priority. I'd still love to see a new goalkeeper there, because, as you say, Joe Hart's been a good servant, but I think we should be improving on Joe. I think left back's essential that they bring in. I loved the way that Greg Taylor played last year, and I don't know if it's the change in tactics, the way that he was coming in the middle of the park, that's upsetted the way that he's playing, but he just looks like a completely different player at present. His ball retention's been very poor since the start of the season, so I think we definitely need a replacement in that regard. Uh, I would like to see is like similar to yourself, JP. I think we'd be looking for a number 10, and the reason why, look, we've lost Aaron Moy, and you've seen some of the passes and the through balls that Aaron Moy made last season.
Yeah,
They were very important sometimes, kind of getting 3 points. Some of these through balls were unbelievable at times, and I think, well, obviously Matt O'Reilly plays sometimes in that kind of position, but I think you've seen a new side of Matt O'Reilly last year as well when Callum was out for a couple of months. Was it 6 weeks? A couple of months. When Matt O'Reilly stepped into that kind of the Callum's position, maybe number 6, 8, I think he stepped in there pretty well. I think he showed a different side to his game that I was quite impressed with. So even if you brought somebody in at a good standard for a number 10 that can play that through ball, I think you can maybe utilise Matt O'Reilly in different parts of the park. Uh, I think I would be going with definitely a winger with a bit of skill, no matter what side there is. Somebody that can open up the game, and you're needing that wee bit of skill, as I said before. Something that can replace Jota. I don't think they'll go for a striker. I know what you're saying with Maida being a striker, and he is. He's got the movement, and he gets in all the right places.
hmm
But he's no get that kind of killer instinct that Kyogo's got, and I think that's why he's possibly playing out wide. But I think was it the Aberdeen game we missed quite a bad chance as well.
uh
Been a couple of times like that, but he's always in the right place. So that's the positives with Maeda. he can play that position obviously as a backup, but he's no get that he's no that standard. Kyogo as a striker and possibly but I still like my head as a player. I think the imperative side of anybody who bring in, I think it needs to be players that we're putting directly into that first 11. I think that's the point first. It needs to be players that are going directly into the side.
Yeah.
And I'd rather bring in two players that are going directly into the side than bring in four or five that might get into the side. So I think that's imperative in the next 8 days that we bring in people that are going to improve our starting 11, because I think, as you've seen at the weekend, it's lacking. It looks as if we're running out of ideas at times. I think you've seen as much. I know he's been instructed to kind of fall back Kyogo as well, but you've seen how deep Kyogo was coming, because he wasn't getting any action up front as well. He was coming so deep at times
Yep.
near the end of the game as well. So I think we definitely need to improve, and we need players going directly into that team. Aye.
No, listen, lads. I think he's a spot on in what he's saying. I think we're all in agreement that this team needs reinforcements and more sooner rather than later. I think we can all pretty much agree on that. And there's a lot of comments coming in similar to what we're saying. The team needs a wee bit more physicality. I think Brian himself said that numerous of times. I think we're too nice. You look at the Japanese lads, every time they maybe knock someone over, they're going over to pick somebody up rather than, if that was Bruni's volleying them off the park and, getting in their face and telling them they're rubbish and maybe words to that effect, but no that sort of actual word itself. No, but we are looking. I think we're lacking, and I think we've lacked it for some time. Somebody similar to Big Wanyama, a big enforcer in the midfield, and we've tried a few. We've had a few in. We've had a Water in, we've had Abelgard in. The big boy Con's in. Now, I'm not writing that guy off because I don't know what he can do. He's obviously not getting a try at the moment. But sooner rather than later, I think he's going to have to be given an opportunity, because if things continue along the lines of what they did on Sunday, which I'm not expecting them to, but just say for talk's sake they did, then eventually he has to be given an opportunity to come in and show what if he can add anything or bring it to the table. So, but no, lads, I think we're in agreement, with pretty most of the points tonight. Baz, is there anything else you want to add in terms of recruitment, mate? Is there anything else you've been thinking of, or in terms of position-wise or individuality?
I think I seen I think I was speaking to you about it last season. I would love to see Haksabanovic playing 10. I think he's one of the players that can see passes, and he always plays wide, so it's more difficult to pick the passes through there, but you still see wee bits where he comes in and threads a ball, reverse ball through. I would like to see him play 10, and I think it's a perfect opportunity at the minute, because we had Tati being out. Big Al said as well, you could, if you want to go with this 4-2-3-1, you could drop Matt O'Reilly next to Kyle McGregor at the minute and play O'Reilly as the 2, with Haksabanovic in the 10, and then you can get away with playing a bad in the wings then, because you've still got that bit of the dribbling and the pickery of pass with Haksabanovic in the 10. So recruitment-wise, I would probably say I don't think we'd really need a 10. I would go for a mere ball-winning midfielder than somebody that's going to play in the 10, because I think Matt O'Reilly, like Alan said, he can play deep, he can play in the 10. You've got Turnbull who's playing there as well. Hattati, when he comes back, more than likely plays there. I just think we're lacking that physical presence. Like you said, the big guy the other night for PSV, I thought he was brilliant. Just being in there and stopping attacks and just using his physical presence to be in there and run the midfield. I think we've not had that for a while. Scott Brown was different. He wasn't like a big Wanyama. He was kind of different to Wanyama, but somebody along the lines, I think the boy Quan, physique-wise, looks exactly that type of player, but has he got the ability to go and do it? We don't know yet, but I would love to see Celtic spend a big bit of money on somebody who's going to sit in front of the back four and protect them.
Yeah, no, listen, I totally with you. I think they missed a trick there when we were linked, I think it was last season, before the January window, and we were linked with a big lad that plays for Tunisia. He was with Ferenc Varos at the time. He's now with Union Berlin, the big lad Lyduni, because he's exactly the type of player that, would have really um, would have really helped us in that sort of position, as you said, Buzz, that big sort of enforcer, to help McGregor. 'Cause I know people are saying that, Callum's been off for him and he's not been his usual self the last couple of games. I just think he's been isolated. I just think he's been asked to do like maybe two and a half guys' jobs, and he's not getting really any sort of help. You look at last season, the fullbacks were coming in and they were acting like an extra number 6. That isn't happening now. So he's not getting that overload there, and allowing him then to maybe carry the ball into the 8 and through the mid 60s. That's just not happening now. So
He's been man-marked a lot in these opening games
yeah,
as well, where they've let the centre-halves have the ball and stood on McGregor and stopped him for getting it for the centre-half. So,
yeah,
like
that's been the sort of focus of the trigger. So he's been the sort of, because let's face it, I mean, he's the main playmaker in there, a barring Hatati or one or two others. But
we
no,
done
you're
it in
spot
a
on,
few
mate.
firm games as well last season where Cantwell went in them and Tillman tried to be in them. So it's going to happen quite a lot. So you do obviously, if you can get a number 6 in there to sit in there and let it free him up to move further forward and go into positions further forward, because a lot of people forget he's actually unbelievable in the ball and a good dribbler. He's got a turn of pace to get away, so he can play higher up in them positions and he can pick a pass as well. So it'd probably be better for him as well.
Yeah, no, spot on, lads. Aye, some really good points in the other night, and obviously some ideas, and moving forward, let's just hope um, they're watching us and they're listening, because that way, hopefully, they'll get their finger out. And I'm maybe going to play devil's advocate before we move on, because obviously we've got a nice wee bit of entertainment now towards the end. But in terms of the coming to the end of the window, again, a wee bit of devil's advocate here. Is it maybe they're hanging back because the potential targets that they're doing, they need to wait to a specific point of the transfer window to get these deals done? Like you says, by should like here's one I'm throwing out again. I've not got any knowledge or anything before anybody thinks I'm maybe letting the cat out of the bag with something here. I'm no. Just say for talking sake, Celtic were going for Kieran Tierney. They would probably have to wait to see what Arsenal was doing in terms of whether we're going to keep him, how's he fitting in. We obviously all know now he's not getting anywhere near the squad. So I would imagine, looking for the outside, he's one of the probably few players of that squad that Arteta would like to move on, either permanently or a loan deal. So again, targets in that ilk. Is it just a fact that we've had to sort of be patient, and the business could be getting done towards the end, Buzz?
It can definitely, a lot can change in 8 days. I think the positive thing for Celtic fans was Brendan coming out after the game and touching on that he needs quality. And a lot of people at first were like, he needs quality. We won a treble last year. But the more you sit and think about it, as days go past, he's speaking the truth. I think he's spot on. I know a lot of fans were quick to jump on it after the game and say, we just won a treble last year. It's an excuse, but it's not an excuse. We lost Jota, we've lost Starfelt, we lost loads of players. And we needed quality last year as well. I know we done well and won the treble, but if we're going to try and move on in this Champions League, which has been touched on, we struggled in that last year, so we definitely need quality, and we've weakened since then. So I think there's 8 days, there's a lot that can change. Like you say, the Kieran Tierney thing, I'm praying it's him, it comes back. He's been at the Arsenal squad the last 2 games now, so there must be something happening there, whether it's coming back to us or is someone else lined up. But he looks as if he'll be on his way out, but he looks at it if he can't make the bench at Arsenal. I can't imagine him sitting there and no travelling to games. Knowing him, I think he'll want to play football. So hopefully it's at Celtic Park. I seen something else today on Twitter about Podence in talks. I know that's been the talk for the last 10 days or so, but I think if you get him, you can probably... Do you really need to bring anybody else in? Probably no, because the fans will be over the moon with somebody like that coming in. I think if you go and get him, kind of takes the shine off the other positions and kind of probably buys you time to January probably. But the true Celtic fans and the ones who know football probably want more players in the door than Podence. But if it was just him, then I think a lot of people would be happy, because I think he can... For me, he's a top player, and we'll be lucky to get him if we can get him. So I'm hoping he comes in, and I would love to see Kieran Tierney. Hopefully, like you said, Brendan, Peter Hallwell are watching this podcast and go and get it done tonight.
Aye, definitely. No, Alan, I think Kieran Tierney's a no-brainer, mate. If he would, it was a snippet of Tierney being available, and see, to be fair, even if Kieran's watching his boys, I think Kieran would understand and probably agree with me, sir. I think Kieran would swim up here rather than... Yeah, I think he would. He wouldn't hesitate. There would be no hesitation whatsoever. His love and admiration for the club is there, and we've spoken about it before, mate. He's a world-class player, and again, he's an option to play at left centre-back if you really needed to go down that road, the way Steve Clarke's doing with him at the moment in the Scotland team. So, Alan, again, mate, Podence would be a massive player for us as well. And a guy that maybe not so much in terms of his height, right enough, because he's he's not the tallest, but he's genuine quality, and that's the type of signing that we are looking for. But again, mate, is there anything you would like to add in terms of the recruitment? Have you thought of anything while we were speaking there? Or?
I know. Obviously, Podence would be... That's your statement signing. That would be... I think what you were mentioning about the things could kind of open up near the end of the window. It is a gamble, but sometimes it can pay off. I think every day that passes that Kieran Tierney doesn't make a move somewhere else, the chances of us getting them increases. So I think it would be hard with regards to the kind of financial side of it, but obviously I think every Celtic fan on the planet would love to see Kieran Tierney back that left back slot right now. So I would love to see it happen. I don't know if he's moved yet, but what Barry was talking about earlier with your kind of your bigger kind of more aggressive player in the middle of the park. And we were quoted, probably a Leicester quotes, and I think we might be financially kind of put away for it. But was it Ndidi at Leicester? I think that's
There's
the kind of...
there's actually a comment from Monty on the YouTube of that similar mindset just now, mate. There you go.
I
So
think
he
that's
says
a player that he's kind of got the attributes about him, I think, that could make a difference in our team. But as I say, it's finances as well. You don't know what kind of money he's going to be on at Leicester when they've just been relegated for the Premier League. So to achieve a deal like that, it could be hard. But that's one of the similar ones like Tierney. The longer it goes on with it, these players kind of moving on to a different club, then the higher the chance is that you could get near the end of the window and they could make the move on a loan or whatever up to Celtic. So that would be it.
I think Baz would be gutted if indeed he came to Celtic, Alan, because I think he's chomping at a bit to show him what to do down there. So, because he'll have the opportunity to come up against them this season. Should both of them stay fit? So, but no, in terms of Ndidi, I think he's a very good player. He played some really good football under obviously Brendan last season, and I'm actually quite surprised that Leicester have managed to retain his services. Obviously they've dropped the league, so no, and as far as I'm led to believe, I think Enzo Maresca has been playing him. So he obviously does fit in the manager's plan somewhere. But obviously that would remain to be seen. But I was just trying to kind of think of, has there already been conversations taking place, and therefore we need to just be patient, and then over the next week things will start to happen. I sure hope that is the case, lads. So as we all know, folks, we are doing a wee quiz tonight. Again, we're Who Am I quiz, and I've seen a couple of people asking why it's tonight and not on Friday. The reason for that is because I am Mr. Worldwide and I'm riding solo on Friday. As you've all heard at the beginning, our good man Alan here's jetting off to Tenerife on Friday. Baz is preparing for his game against Cardiff, and Mr. Double Denim is doing his strutting his stuff somewhere else, I think, on Friday. So I'm left on my own. And again, we've not got, I know we've not got that button yet. I can press it and goes But there will be a podcast on Friday. Make no bones about that, and it'll be just myself that's coming on to have a wee chat with everyone about the St Johnstone game, and again, another couple of days down the line, hopefully we've got some good news in terms of potential rumours or recruitment. We don't do rumours here, but in terms of are we anywhere near recruiting another player, or maybe two, or 3 or 4? That's wishful thinking, I think. Yes, Bev, Big Bev's put a comment in. Brian's away doing his Brian Adams tribute for Friday, so he's taking it back to the summer of '69 apparently. So we will, no doubt we'll find out about how we got on afterwards.
You'll be
Right,
living on a prayer. You'll be
say that
living on a
again.
prayer. You'll be living on a prayer.
Aye, absolutely. Right, lads, without no further ado, this is my favourite part of our week normally, and it is the Who Am I quiz. So let's get right to it. Baz, I will put this first one to you first for a guess, and it'll be the same again, the way I done it last time. If you can't guess, I'll move it on to Alan, but if you get it within a certain time, you just say so, and well, you can have your guess. And everybody that's in the comments, you can feel free to comment away. The lads will not see the comments until I say whoever it was that guessed correctly. But here we go. So, quiz number 1. Can we all see that? Okay, yeah. Or do you need me to read out the teams? There's already someone. There's already someone in the comments got it correctly.
Oh.
I'll give you another wee minute, Buzz, and then I will ask you for a guess.
I've got two in mind, so I hope it goes for one of them.
You're only getting one, Alan, if I come to you.
I've got a guess, but
okay, so I will take
hey,
this off
I'll go
take this off the screen, and you can give me your guess.
Oliver Tabley.
Well done, mate. Well done. He's there, big Oliver. Well done, and well done to Jerry H. Patrick McLaughlin was actually first to get it on the comments, so well done, Patrick. He got it pretty quickly as well. So Jerry H got it as well. Plunge managed to get it as well, but again, Plunge done it after the other two guys. I don't know if Plunge just put that up so that he looked as if he was right, but non-Plunge he probably did. No, as I say,
only you can see the comments, big man.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, you will only be able to see them if I put them up on screen.
Right.
But because if I was allowing you to see the comments, then you probably would have left us at minute 2, because you have just been getting abused all night. Honestly, it's been absolutely terrible. So that's how I've tried to steal the conversation elsewhere. And I'm only kidding.
I get that it's Saturday at 3 o'clock as well. I'm used to it.
Alan, are we ready for the next one, mate?
Aye.
This
Ready
one's
as
on
I'll be,
you.
aye.
Right, so here we go. I'll give you a wee minute for this one as well, Alan. If you know it and you think you know it, you can say so, and I will take this away early doors.
Aye, go for it.
Okay.
Mark Crosser.
Well done. There he is. Wow, man, I wish well done to Nicholas Cassidy. He was first up with the comments. There's Nicholas and his comment there. So well done, mate. You were first up. So I think we spoke about him last week, boys, didn't we? I actually rated wee Mark as well. I thought he was a good player.
No, he was very good. Lovely football.
Right. A 40-yarder a row.
That was his first goal. First goal for the club, or that was he was in the same midfield as Roy Keane that day.
He still tweets about Celtic, didn't he? Loves them.
Yeah. I've actually tried to get him on the podcast, but I don't think I think he tries to speak Mexican most days now. I don't think he understands Glaswegian anymore. But Bart, if you're watching, I've Instagram. I've sent you a wee message on Instagram, mate. Get his hit us back up, and I'll get you a free ready meal off of Ryan when you come on, mate.
Your Mexican accent.
That's Spanish, buddy.
No.
I know he's in Mexico, but
but he's not speaking there. Yeah, I know he's Spanish. Yeah, but he speaks. Any video I've seen him, he's speaking Mexican, because there's also translation you can go to for it, and it tells you what language he's speaking.
Like, they speak Spanish in Mexico, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, but the dialect of it's totally different, so you can actually speak Mexican as well.
All right, sorry, mama.
So that's me being informative tonight as well. That's why I'm here, mate. That's why I do what I do, Alan. Just you worry about the quiz, mate. Let me worry about everything else, big man. Don't you worry about
Escobar, man. Big Escobar over there.
That's why I'm a gaffer, boys. That's why I'm here. That's why Ryan's able to go and do what he's doing and leave me to it, because I'm good at what I do. I'm good at what I do. Right, here we go with the next one, Bazza. Here we are. There we go.
Oh, aye.
So again, boys, I'll give you a wee minute, mate, and then I will take it away and let you have a guess.
Ayo Berkovic.
Oh, didn't even need to take it away. Well done, man. Well done. By the way, I need to stop making these dead easy, because I've actually done it because of the amount of comments that's coming in saying I was making it hard. So I think I'm going to have to revert back to my first tactic and start making it a wee bit harder. Again, lads, I thought he was a good player.
I've got that tap in the room with his name in the back.
that actual tap. All right, okay.
Aye, it was in my size as a Wayne, but I've got it in the room with Berkovic, 10 on the back of it. Aye. But he didn't stay for that long, to be honest, didn't you know?
No, I think he was only with
a year or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Aye, John Barnes season, wasn't it?
I thought he was a very good player. I was really impressed. We paid quite a reasonable fee for it. I think it was about 5 million we paid for him at the time as well.
That was the tap that you had to return. See that tap? It was all, see when it first came out, it was all bobbly. I had Petrov on it to start. I got Petrov on it, and then I took it back because they were taking the ball back, and I ended up getting Berkovic on it.
That's probably how your talk was all bobbly, because he was a nice foul player in Scotland at the time, so you're probably more bumps in the road than anything else. But let me see if we had any Yeah, we did. We got a couple of comments. Who was the first to get it? Monty got it first, and he was first in with Berkovic. So there we go. Well done to Monty. I'm getting absolute pelters for everybody that actually didn't realise where I was going with that. He's speaking Mexican and blah blah blah, and then you jumped in with, oh, he can speak Spanish. And I know that, but he's actually speaking Mexican. It's a dialect of Mexican. And when he does his videos on Instagram, for some reason he's a clever wee guy, and there's a translation to let some people see what he's saying. He's quite a family man as well. He does quite a lot with his family and his friends. So but he's busy. He's always out and about doing things. But no, I liked him as a player. So
I
we're back
wasn't
to
very aware of
you.
that, so I apologise. I wasn't aware you were meaning the Mexican dialect. I just knew that they speak Spanish over there, so I apologise for that wee
No, that's all right.
infringement.
No, that's all right, mate. Just it'll be a long holiday for you. That's all I can say. The football monitoring board down here have just reassured me of that, mate. So don't worry about it. No, as I say, but Alan, back to yourself, mate. Here we is it
Aye,
Alan? Yeah, it's back to you, mate. Yep.
aye.
So here we are.
Mm. Ooh, a bit that bit harder.
Couple of guesses already on the comments, but they are wrong.
Aye, it is. I know who they're going to be
All
guessing.
right, okay.
No, I don't know who it is, but I know who they'll be guessing because I thought it right away, but it's not him. They're guessing Yarisic, it's not him.
I know who
Well
it
done,
is.
well done, Alan.
Yeah, it's not him.
Well
I've
done.
got
It's
it.
no him. You're right, mate. You're spot on. It's no him. But there is people got it now.
I've got it.
$30 Alan. Then I will ask you for a guess. What I'm going to start doing with these quizzes, lads, this is probably the last week of just getting a freebie of it. What I'm going to start doing is whoever's on with us that night participating in the quiz, we're going to do a wee point system, and whoever guesses the most correct. So I'm going to do it in individual order. Like, just say if I talk to you, Alan, you don't get this one right, and it goes to Baz. Baz will get an extra point on top of the ones he's already guessed. And I'm going to start marking it so that I know who's ahead and who's not. Make it interesting. Right, mate. Have
Right,
your
I'll
guess.
guess. Elton say I'll guess Magnus Hedlund. No.
No.
It's a goalie though, I think. Dimitri Karin.
Ah,
Well done, Baza.
aye, good shout, man.
Well done. Well done.
No Russian
First,
gave it away for me in Chelsea.
aye. First one on the board tonight for that one was Plunge, and he guessed it early doors. There we go. So well done, Plunge. Well done, mate, for getting that as well. Next one up, Baza. Here we go.
Oh.
if I actually got a Hardy in here for you, oh yes.
I think I've got it, but it could be
Well
anyone.
done. Ryan's actually got it. He's joining in me, and he's first
I
to
think
get
I've,
it tonight.
I think I've got it, mate.
But Ryan doesn't count because Ryan's got access to this. He can see everything that's on this platform. So
Oh,
I'm not going with Ryan, but I'll go with somebody else that's got it. You think you've got it, Buzz?
I think so, aye.
Okay, dokie.
Is it Stokes?
No.
Oh, I think okay.
Alan,
This is
Alan, do you need the teams up again, Alan, for that again?
no. I'm thinking Adam Virgo, no.
No, it's not Adam
No.
Virgo. Both these are wrong. Oh, dearie me.
Put the teams up.
Put the teams up again. Okay.
I know how Falkirk and Sunderland with Stokes. But
If that was Anthony Stokes, Hibs would be there.
I know. He's played for Falkirk and Sunderland, didn't he?
he's played for Livingston.
Played for
So
Arsenal as well,
Scotland.
didn't he?
I was like Adam Matthews there, but he's not played for Livingston or Falkirk.
No ads, no chance. There is people in the comments got it now.
Ross Wallace, no?
No.
It's not Ross Wallace.
No.
Hey lads, I'm taking this one away because I don't think he's going to get it. I'll put a photo up and you can tell me if you know who this is.
Oh, Healy, Colin.
Colin
Healy.
Healy.
Yes.
That's a hard one, fair play.
There we go. I'm actually thinking about the way I'm doing this now because I'm going to start making it. No, Francis PC Green. It's certainly no Andy Payton, that's for sure. Just for anybody who thinks I'm kidding on, he says that. There you go. Andy Payton, it's not that. And it's Nicholas Cassidy was first to get it on the Facebook. Well done, Nicky. Good man, Colin Healy. I think he was one of David Fernandez's best pals at the time as well. I remember them actually getting caught for picking their nose to get up. So Martin O'Neill sort of got rid of them. I think it was him, Bobby Peta, and David Fernandez. I think they got up to a bit of nonsense. I'm pretty sure I heard that story. If anybody can jog my memory there.
Colin Healy one season, man. He had some season, did he know?
Yeah, he done okay. That was the season, remember Douglas won a cup when Barnes was Uncle Phil out of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air came and just chucked him right out the door. See you later, John. No, but it was when Barnes was sacked and moved on after Inverness went ballistic. Then he started to get a game in the team, and you're right, Baz, he done well, and I think we won the cup. We won the wasn't the Coca-Cola? It was like the League Cup then, but wasn't it? It was a sort of the League Cup under Kenny Douglas. But
CIS Cup at that time.
It was a CIS. That was it. Well done, Alan. It was.
I got a point for that.
No, you don't. No.
Mine's better than being hard.
You're actually minus because you're a Spanish comment here, so you're not getting away with that. You're actually going to start on a minus handicap now for now on in.
Stop taking it off you. Right, well, give me another hard one then.
Alan, you're on the last one of this evening, mate. Here we are.
Napier City, holy moly.
As you all know, that everyone has, with these quizzes, folks, everyone has played for Celtic. So that's the important part of these quizzes. At some point in these guys' careers, they have all played for Celtic.
I'll get a bash, Jonathan Gould.
Jonathan Gould.
Aye.
Well done, mate. Well done.
That's quality.
Well done. Again, I think he'd one very good season with us was under Wim Jansen, and then he actually played. He was a goalkeeper for us when we beat them 6-2.
I know.
He was a goalie that day, and then
5-1.
The 5-1 was Tony Warner, wasn't it?
No, that was a game at Park Kedo, but when we went to Ibrox and get beat 5-1, I think it was Rob Douglas by that point.
Aye, I was poor Andrew Boy's debut. That was my first game at Ibrox. Poor
Was it,
jinx. Aye.
Doubled in his first Old Firm game. Was that Tony Warner that was in goal that night?
Tony Warner, we beat him 5-1, aye. I'm sure Big Mialby made his debut that day for us as well.
Well, I remember Lobo's header, man. That was a belter.
Aye, the one he scored and didn't know what he'd just done, man. The
Aye.
place are update, man, and like, what's going on? And then Phil O'Donnell played with us then as well. He was in that team because it was the back four was Tom Boyd, Alan Stubbs.
Did a Recef play?
I think you might be right. I think it was Big Vidar Recef. No, it wasn't. I don't think
Reaper's on that team, though.
Reaper wasn't there. No, he wasn't there. I think he was injured at that point.
Big V cost.
I don't think he was in that team, Baz. No, I don't think he played that day. I think it was Phil O'Donnell, Craig Burley. Because don't forget, it was Dr. Joe Venglos. No, it wasn't. It was Paul Lambert, I'm sure.
In the middle?
Of that team. In the middle, aye. Simon Donnelly.
Simon
Donnelly played with us. See if you remember Lubo's goal. It was knocked down the line to Phil O'Donnell. No, it was Simon Donnelly, and then he cut it in. Larson dummies it. Like Larson had dreadlocks at the time. And then Lubo just steps on it and scalps it right in the bottom corner. They had Anthony Emmy was in goals for them that day. Because Colin Hendry played. I'm sure Stefan Givas played that day for them as well.
He did, up front.
And then obviously young Mark Birchall came on and scored the 5th goal and wrapped the game up for us. But no, what a day that was unbelievable. And like you says, Tony Warner was a goalkeeper, but Big Johan Mialby made his debut that day. He was the partner to Big Stubbs. I want to say Stephen Mahey was there. I know. I'm sure a Madman was there. I know.
Must have been.
I'm sure he was there as well. Because again, when we beat him 6-2, Stephen Mahey played that day as well. In that Martin O'Neill team. But that was very early on in the season again. Did Rangers not go down to 10 men that day as well? I'm sure that young boy Scott Wilson gets in there for them that day.
Aye, he did.
Aye, because they had that boy tap with the red stripe and the James Lager, the light one.
That's right, because big Sergio Perini played for them that day as well, remember? See, lads, there you go. We've had another interesting wee chat there, reminiscing about that's what these quizzes do, folks. They bring back some really good memories. Some maybe horrible memories for some, depending on the individual, the photo it's going up. I don't think they'll ever beat the Charles Eduardo Corridon, though. You ought to have seen Ryan's face went into screensaver mode when I put that up. And he was like, "Who's that? Like, who's that?" He couldn't. He was totally mesmerised with it. And there was another one in the same quiz. It was Dair Nelas, the Venezuelan boy we had up in trial, and he played a couple of games for us as well. He played against Bayern Munich in one of the friendlies. That actual friendly was on Channel 5. Way back in the day when Channel 5 used to give you console football, as I used to call it. When the channel would no long come on air. And then obviously after that, I think he played against, I'm sure he played a league game for us, but he came in a short term. It was like a short term thing. He played a couple of games for us because there's a quiz going about as well. And the quiz is, who was the two Venezuelans ever to play for Celtic? Dair Nelas was one of them. Can you name the other, Bazza? And I think I spoke to you about this.
Oh, you tell me, I forgot already.
All right, there you go.
It would have been somebody recently, wasn't it?
No. Oh, I remember the other guy say.
Venezuela.
Just before we finish up, mate.
Give him a clue. What game?
Well, he played the famous game where we beat Barcelona.
Was it the strike, Miku?
Miku, aye. So that was in a quiz, and I was in the team that won that, and all the boys I was with were like, "How did you know that?" I was like, no, I remember Dare Nelas, and the Miku one was a doddle because he was, I think it
Aye.
was that season that he was in the team. Aye, so I was like, if you think about it, he's Venezuelan. So you're like that. I just knew he played for Celtic. We didn't know what country he played. That's where he comes from. You've got to know these things if you're supporting the team, you know. So I asked my dad, no, it wasn't my dad, I asked one of my mates that I'd went to school with a couple of days ago, like, who's the only Argentinian player ever to play for Celtic? And he said the other day, he's like that to me, Sebastian Rosenthal. I said, no, he didn't even play for Celtic, for a fact, he's not even Argentinian. I says,
Was he Chilean, isn't
he's Chilean, aye. He said, all right, and I gee in, and I was like, Bernabe? Sebastian Rosenthal. But, lads, honestly, I thank you very, very much for your time tonight. It's been really good chatting with you again. Some really good points, especially on the injuries, recruitment-wise, what the team's looking for moving forward. Thank you very much to everybody that's took the time to comment. I'm sorry if I couldn't get everybody's comment up on the screen, but like I've said to you before, when the lads are chatting, it's pretty hard because you don't want to be rude or interrupt the lads speaking. Couple of things before we go, guys. As you all know by now, because you've watched the show often enough now, the Celtic Unrestricted View is sponsored by AB Entertainment. The AB obviously stands for the guy who was in the comments tonight, Mr. Alec Beveridge, and the entertainment business is his DJ company. So, yeah, he's a proud sponsor of this podcast. That's his contact details, folks. Alex on Facebook, Instagram. Probably the best way to get Alex is through his WhatsApp. You just send him a wee message. He will get back in touch with you. And the number is on your screens. If it's too small for you and you can't read that number, the number is 07845 746 092. And as I said, the best way to get him is on WhatsApp. Now, Alex not just a DJ, he's a fantastic guy himself. Whether it marries great for us is the fact that he is a massive Celtic fan like ourselves, and he is proud to come on board with us. Alec caters for every sort of function that you can think of. I've rhymed off the list plenty of times for you. He does weddings, any type of functions, wedding functions, engagement parties, christenings, communions, double denim parties. Ryan's trying to book him in for something he's going on soon. I don't know what he's doing, boys, but I've heard through the grapevine Ryan's trying to get him, and he's looking for a DD, a double discount off him as well. So I don't know if that's going to materialise. I'll let you all know how that goes. But he does title winning parties, treble parties, liquidation parties, championship playoff parties, Brian Adams lookalike parties, whatever he wants, whatever you guys are looking for. Big Bev will cater for. What I will say, guys, it's coming to a busy stage of the year for him. His diary's starting to fill up. So anybody that can think possibly offhand that you've got a party coming up, a relative's got a party coming up, please don't look any further and contact Alec himself, and he will do his best to fit you in. Also, guys, just to let you all know that, to let you know as well, we currently have a fantastic auction happening at the moment, guys. It's running up until the 31st of this month at midnight. We have an auction running for Mr. Barry Bannan's boots. He wore them on the championship playoff where his Sheffield Wednesday team overcame Barnsley and got promoted into the championship from League One. And Baz so kindly donated his boots to the podcast for us to auction off to some really lucky person. So there, Baz there modelling the fantastic pair of boots that they are. Obviously, Baz is getting a wee heads up there on what his career's going to look like when he does decide to hang up his boots. And if he does, then he's got a definite future in modelling, as you can all see, folks. Absolutely gorgeous. So, and there's Baz boots up close in person with a nice wee signature saying best wishes and Baz's signature. Sorry, Baz, what you guys say?
What's the money for the auction? Where's it going to? To the podcast?
To the podcast, yeah. To the actual podcast.
I'll match the final bid.
Amazing. There we are, folks. Baz is going to match the final bid. The money itself is sitting at £540. So we've had bids already, and the bid itself sitting at £540. And as you've heard, the good man himself, and I didn't think he could become even more of a good man, but unbelievable for a gesture from the man himself tonight. He is going to match that bid, whatever it then stands at, from the 31st of the month. And as I said, folks, on the 1st of September, we will announce the proud winner of these books. Alan, obviously Ryan's not here. I can't really ask him out with Baz. So what I will say to you is I think it's not just a fantastic gesture, mate, but it's also it could be a pride possession for someone because those boots are very successful, mate.
Aye. Oh, brilliant gesture again with Barry matching that, especially with already getting them away signed. Great achievement getting the boots go on to the championship and all. So I don't think Ryan will want to be away from him. I know he was doing his Hoover in them last night, so it's not a bit quite a thing. But I
Perfect,
know.
perfect match made in heaven, by the way. He fits him and all that glove.
I know. So I smashing gesture. Obviously great for the podcast, or the growth of the podcast as well. So I thanking you very much, Barry. Much appreciated.
Definitely. The wee man was stunning last night, like Patrick Swayze at Roadhouse with him on, man. I'm telling you, he was looking good, man. He was looking good. But again, you want to see the wee man doing stuff like that. You need to subscribe to his Half 10 shows because they're getting quite juicy as we come to the end of the summer. Also, folks, you'll probably see on the running bar on your screens at the moment, guys, there's a wee message here telling you that the Celtic Unrestricted View do have some merchandise in stock. There we are. We have a fantastic mugs. These mugs are printed in vinyl, folks. So as you can see, one side of it does have the crest, and the Unrestricted View podcast logo is on the other side. The mugs are priced at £5. Thank you to Margie, who purchased some couple of mugs and a keyring yesterday. So thank you very much for that. I do hope you get some good use from it. And I do hope you like the mugs and the keyrings. And the keyrings are priced at £1.50. And as you can see, the keyrings are photographed with the podcast banner. And again, on the other side, we have the Unrestricted View podcast logo. Anyone, guys, that would like to purchase any of these items at all, you can do so if you reach out to the community section of our YouTube channel. You just click the wee icon, it'll take you in and you can leave your comments, whatever you're looking for there. You can also contact us in any one of our social media platforms, which is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can also, if you don't want to message your page, you can also message myself and Ryan. We are on all major platforms also. I will put up in case anyone wants to get in touch, that there on screen for you folks next to my name there, JP, is my Twitter handle, guys. So if anybody wants to reach out, my DMs are open. So if anybody wants to reach out for any questions on the above, what I've read out tonight in terms of the AB Entertainment or Bazzy's boots or any merchandise, please do so. Also, guys, I want to say I've not mentioned this for quite some time, and again, it's just down to the fact that we have been busy, but I've not forgotten about it, and I want you to know that I've not forgotten about it as well. If anybody's sitting there suffering from mental health, guys, and you need a chat, and it might be just something different to what your normal day is, i.e., things are getting a bit too heavy within your family or in your actual life, please reach out, guys. Don't just sit in silence, because there's enough of that going on just now. And mental health's a big thing. Sometimes it's better to speak to a complete stranger as well, guys, and it's not maybe it's not someone you don't feel as if you're going to be judged. You don't feel as if you're going to be questioned or or probably put under the spotlight with your own family. If it's someone that's a total stranger, it might be easier to open up a bit. So please do. And as I said, I had my Twitter handle up there. Ryan's is always DMs are always open as well, guys. And as I say, please reach out because it's no nice to sit yourself. And I want everyone that's watching us just now to know that there is someone there wanting to listen. And I'm pretty sure the guys that are on with me just now will second that as well. And in terms of, don't just sit alone. Reach out. Even if it's a chat about football, Celtic, we all love the same thing. That's why we're here. But yeah, please reach out because I wouldn't like to see anyone sitting, suffering. And I've been through things myself in my life that weren't nice, and sometimes you just need that wee network of people around about you to kind of help you through things. So yeah, as I say, please reach out, guys. I'm happy to help if I can. Anyone at all. That goes for anybody, whether it be a Real Madrid fan, an Aberdeen fan, a Sheffield Wednesday fan, a Wolverhampton fan, But if you support any of the clubs out with Sheffield Wednesday, Celtic, and everybody else, it's not your fault. It's just that is what it is. You're not as lucky as us Celtic fans, but again, guys, total pleasure tonight, and I will see you all on Friday at the same time of 8:30. Plunge has put up a wee message for me, guys. He says, I'll see you at Parkhead on Saturday, JP. He did say that at the Ross County game, and I don't know if he saw me and ran a mile or whatever that day, but he certainly didn't see me that day, and I didn't see him one or two. But yeah, but guys, honestly, been a pleasure being on with you. Baz, I will get a chat with you soon, mate, hopefully. Again, thank you very much, mate, for your brilliant gesture tonight. Honestly, you totally surprised me there. And big up for the game on Saturday against Cardiff, mate. I hope you do well. I will be keeping an eye on it. Obviously, I'll be at Celtic Park, but I will be keeping an eye on you, mate, as always. And Alan, I don't get a chance to see you, mate. Hopefully, next time I see you, you'll be showing me in your white bits, mate.
Ooh, big boy. Adios, amigos.
or is that for Ryan? Is that if I jumped the gun there? Is that Ryan that's meant to be doing that? I'm not too sure, mate.
Oh no, there's enough of my white bits to go about, man. You can have a switch.
And by the way, before we go, mate, it was good to see the dog at the beginning there because I think a few people were getting worried, definitely, mate. But Baz, honestly, mate, pleasure, man. I'll catch up with you later.
Man.
Everybody else, I will see you on Friday. Hail, hail, folks.
Hail, hail.
Hail, hail.
tag.